Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Unity of Command. We're here with the first DLC for this game called Blitzkrieg, which deals with the first few years of the war, playing as the Germans after beating their asses a bunch of times as the Allies, both in historical and ahistorical scenarios. We're here taking the fight to them, and I am just as excited for this one as I was for the first game, or the main game. Maybe even more than that. Yeah, the one thing that I really like about this game is that the developers come up with these alternate history scenarios that I just absolutely love, and they've shown their ingenuity by creating a bunch of historical scenarios for the Allies that, frankly, I've never played that kind of stuff. Going through the Ljubljana Gap and reaching Germany from the south. That's just it's something I've never done, and I really like that idea. How they set things up for some alternate history scenarios while the Germans are actually on the back foot. That's not something that you see very often. Now, of course, now that we're playing as the Germans, I do hope to see some interesting alternate history scenarios as well, and I do know that they have those in store for us. I will probably be going for a historical route first, just like I did with the 1943-1945 Victory in the West campaign. The alternate history scenarios weren't done yet back then, so we kind of had no choice, but I kind of want to follow a similar route here. You gotta save the best for last, right? I mean, if you're gonna give yourself all the candy at the start, well, there's less to look out for at the end. So I'll probably be going for a historical route first, and then afterwards I'll take the ahistorical route. Yeah, so we'll once again start on Classic. Name is Blitzkrieg. Yeah, exactly. I'm also doing a bit of beta testing on this, so that's why I already have that there save game, but no worries about that. 939 Europe, and yeah. We're starting here with Blitzkrieg. You're hereby designated as Supreme Axis Commander. You will lead the Wehrmacht in a series of audacious attacks spanning the European continent. Take the fight to the Western Allies, crush their armies, and secure the resources we need across Western Europe, Scandinavia, and the Balkans. Germany must avoid a lengthy two-front war at all costs. Finish this war before the Russian bear awakes. Indeed. So we got a bunch of Heikel bombers. I'm not going to buy any of these theater assets at the start. It's generally no good. I have to say I really like the way they redesigned this map. It does look distinctly different from the last time, and I think it's actually for the better. This really looks amazing. Like, I really like the way they done this map. So kudos to them for that, actually. We're starting here with the Heeresgruppe A and Heeresgruppe B. There are actually quite a few changes that I've done. First of all, the designer notes. Let's just also go over that as well. We're going to start with Heeresgruppe A under Gert von Rundstedt here. So, first of all, let's go to the designer note. We can also see the flag here. That's for Heeresgruppe A, so that's great. With a total force of some 45 divisions, Heeresgruppe A will undertake the main German assaults on Poland and France, and will hit the beaches at Dover if Operation Sea Lion goes ahead. Okay, so you know that. Some of the heaviest fighting during the campaign will fall on its shoulders, so ensure its headquarters is given maximum operational and command capabilities. Heeresgruppe A will be led by General Gert von Rundstedt, a man Montgomery described as the best the Germans had. He's leader of impeccable strategic judgment and the ability to get the best out of his subordinates. Like many aristocratic German generals, he had no sympathy for the Nazi regime, and yet will consistently support them out of a sense of duty, regardless of war crimes and genocide. Alright, and let's take a look at the Heeresgruppe B under Fedor von Bock. Erzgruppe B will be in charge of operations in Poland north of the Vistula. Later it will support the attack in the west by seizing the Low Countries or even Switzerland, depending on the path chosen. So that we know that one as well. Heeresgruppe B will be led by General Fedor von Bock, a highly ambitious and determined officer. He will prove to be a shrewd and adaptable field commander, but differences with high command will lead to his removal from command in Russia in 1942. In his campaign, Heeresgruppe B will not have the same intensity and skill of operations as Heeresgruppe A, but it still needs to develop reasonable operational flexibility and command skills. This HQ movement is fixed apparently at 3 movement points per turn. The same applies for Heeresgruppe A, so that's definitely different from the last time where you could move them a lot more. So this indeed only... the extra truck assets mean that the range of the HQ is bigger. That's still pretty useful, but it does mean that you're less likely to take it. And of course, at the start, prestige is very tight. So I'll actually, for both, I do need set piece attacks and feint attacks. Those are basically your bread and butter of any HQ, so you really need that, I think. And I'm going to spend the rest of the 50 prestige into specialist step upgrades. Now, the German HQs do look a little bit different. For example, these guys actually start with river crossing, for example. They don't have assault crossing yet, and for some it seems to be really tough to create the pontoon bridges. Like, that's really at the end right now and not at the start, so you really have to work for that. Of course, the pontoon bridges was widely used in my Victory in the West campaign. Definitely helped cement one of a lot of my victories, actually. So that is interesting that they made the choice to put this all the way to the back. And then we also have a new ability called Oversupply Unit. I haven't been able to test that out yet, but it seems to me that it means that your unit will basically not get out of supply penalties for a certain number of turns after it gets cut off. But we'll have to see that in the course of the game. Anyway, this is a strategic map, of course, so we're done with this here conference. We have only Northern Europe at the moment, with all 3 of these at the 1st of September, of course. So we'll have to see which order we have to play them, although apparently the Danzig Corridor is going to be first. It's September the 1st, 1939. At 04:44 on the 1st of September 1939, the obsolete German battleship Schleswig-Holstein trained its guns on the Polish positions in Westerplatte. 1 minute later, it fired the opening shots of what would become the bloodiest war in human history. Outnumbered, outgunned, and only partially mobilized, the Polish defenders brace as the Wehrmacht is unleashed upon them. So, yeah, we'll get to start here with the first scenario of the game. I'm really excited to see what it has in store for me. Now, like I said, you already know that I'm also beta testing, so I do already know how this first mission looks like, but well. Anyway, your orders are to cut off and occupy the so-called Polish Corridor. You massively outnumber the thinly spread Polish forces in the area. Furthermore, the Luftwaffe and Kriegsmarine assets at your disposal should aid your efforts greatly. Finally, time is of the essence. The OKW plans to divert your mobile divisions east in support of your northern push on Warsaw. So, as for objectives, we have to take Bydgoszcz on turn 2, Danzig turn 4, Torun on turn 4 as well, Grudziądz on turn 2, so this is going to be difficult. Tukola Forest turn 3, and Gdynia turn 4 as one of the latest objectives as well. If we take a look at the supply situation for the Poles, they get their supply from these two, but other than that, they only get their supply from these 2 railroads. So I would say that the goal is to cut the enemy off from these 2. And then basically everything they have up here will be out of supply as well. You guys are out of range, yeah, because they're actually part of the units in East Prussia. So I guess, yeah, they're not under the HQ here. Not properly, anyway. The German units, contrary to the Allied units, can only hold 2 specialist steps at the moment. They could only field one of them in the previous game to depict the problematic situation the Germans were in back then. And they do have 2 now, so that's yeah, kind of design choice that they made. Of course, again, here we can see how many scenarios a particular unit will still be available to us. So we definitely want to invest into those units that remain with us for a longer period of time. And it looks like I have money for 1 pioneer, and I guess maybe like another recon unit. The pioneers, I think, generally are, for me at least, the most sought after units. So because we have to take Bydgoszcz on turn 2, basically I need to get this 3rd Infantry Division over into the forest, which it should be able to reach actually on turn 1, so that on the next turn I can use a set pierce attack on whatever unit they have here. This is going to be a problematic city to take anyway as well. Besides that, this is a 5-step unit. I don't want to take away stuff from the 218th when they're still going to be here for at least another scenario. There are some border troops. I don't think I can attack across this river. I think it's actually a major river. That's how it looks like, at least to me. But it's hard to... No, it's a small river. Right. So getting rid of some of their stuff might be a bit over the top. Because... No, those are both at 7. That's fine. Okay, so let's take a look at the supplies. We can go from 2 to 1 on this one. Yeah, 1 is fine for now. And this one is probably here because of the road up to Danzig, and I don't want these guys to get cut off. It doesn't really help me to increase that one supply at the moment, so let's just keep it like that and keep this truck in the back or in reserve. One thing that these guys can do, what's I guess very important, is to check your own supplies. So we'll get supplies from this railroad, but not this one. And the weird thing is, so that if these guys move up here, it means that all the supply for all these units is going to get cut off because they don't actually get it from here. They don't get it through Stettin. Now, this is a beta version or press release version, so things might still change, but it does mean that you do need to check or be careful at this point, because if they move in here, they're going to cut off everyone, and you can be sure that the AI does exactly that if they have the opportunity to. Because the AI in this game is it's not a pushover. That it is not. Now I might actually have to take a few hits. That sucks. In order to secure my position all the way there. Okay. I have to scout that out probably, because otherwise I probably don't make it. Yeah. And that would be a bit of a problem. Now, you can get this piece of supply line. Now, technically, they can still cut these two guys off over there. Why are you not in supply, though? Well, weird. Anyway. I don't really care that much about those guys anymore. That sucks. It's a tough world out there with losses like this. Gotta give him that. But I cut off this piece of the rail. Oh, great. Yeah, 3 suppression. That's excellent. All right. Nice. So I got lucky on these guys. And that's what it is. You know, you win some, you lose some. And even though it's harsh, it's harsh losing, you know, that's those 2 steps. That happens. Let's turn to... Oh, I got overrun. Great. Alright, so this gives me elite replacements. And we can see now that all these guys are cut off. Not the ones at Danzig at Gdynia itself, but good enough. I guess attack is just not good. It seems you're actually losing steps pretty quickly again, as in the outcome is negative pretty often. It's a pretty big swing that you're expected to make, actually. Like, if you think about it, like, we got lucky there, we got lucky at some other time, but we also had 3 bad rolls. So it really shows that I don't know, it feels like there's a lot of randomization in there. Anyway, let's resupply these. And if I move these guys in here, what do we lose? Logistics? Well, that sucks, but not much to be done. Now these guys are the supplies now, but if I remove the enemy from Bydgoszcz, they would be back in supply moving up, so it's not necessarily the most beneficial, and this works just as well. And that's gotta be it for this turn. Yeah, no surprise, they went for it. Which is still fine because it does, because I have this one here, it means that we're still okay on supplies there too. What I do find to be a bit odd though, well, okay, so that pushed them to the side. Great. It seems like you can still attack after this. That's also new. It used to be that your unit could do absolutely nothing after that, but now it could technically still attack. Well, that's not something that you see every day. So that's new. Anyway, it's turn 2 now. We do need to take the Tukola Forest on turn 3, so the next turn already. I am really lucky with these, actually. Yeah. Take Danzig. So let's place you here, so you do have an artillery attack on them on the next turn. And yeah, it kind of sucks that you can't move all the way there. I could be moving these guys up into here. That would basically cement the route, or a supply route like this, and does improve my overall supply situation, which they can still disrupt. If they move here, you know, I'm gonna lose all that supply there again. Okay, so these guys are only here for one mission. I'm definitely gonna trade, because if I trade here, it's unfortunate I can't move in there. It makes it a lot easier to potentially defeat the enemy units at Turin on the appropriate turn, which is turn 4. Now these guys, they will be only here for one turn. So even if they do defeat these, basically I need to cut them off. That's kind of what I'm looking to do here. Yeah, I don't need these guys over here, but I'm not interested in taking more damage. I just want to neutralize these guys, which I've effectively done by now. And they could technically move in here, destroy them, but that's not a problem because the Brigade Netze is only on the map for one scenario. So, besides Turin, I'm in a pretty good position now. Okay, so they just got unlucky on the on that. I have a sensation I will not be able to deal with it. Really? Sure. These border group or troops will also only be here for one scenario. Kind of want them there on the next turn, so the tricky part here is, what am I gonna do if I go in here? Let's just do it like that. Yeah. And this supply would cut off these two. How big of a problem is that? I guess for the border group it is. But besides that, it's not that bad. In fact, well, I don't really need to supply anywhere, really, at the moment. Okay. If I move in here, which operations do you lose? Nothing, except force pull. Then I don't care about that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so they cut that off, but that's fine. Much rather have them cut off that up north. That's interesting, though. Why are all my units out of supply? Oh, okay. Huh. Huh. That's a really good move by the AI. Wow, okay. I don't think you can attack across. No, indeed. Well, that's a bloody shame. Seriously? Well, I think these guys should get some experience as well. Gee, that was an extremely hard-fought battle all of a sudden. Holy moly. But I did make it. Don't ask me how. Alright. Got it. There we go. Let's use the Schleswig-Holstein here on Gdynia. Sweet. Let's not risk the city getting into ruin here. And we could level up, but I actually like to keep my prestige for now, so let's just specialize this suppressive fire. Get these guys in supply, block them off. And now it's time to move. Okay, I don't need to rush things there because I've already gotten all the objectives anyway. Just one suppression, but it should be enough to give these guys some nice experience. And that will allow me to take whatever else I feel like. This is not really all that that much of a problem. Let's just take some of this stuff for fun. And maybe some experience on some of the units as well. And you are also cut off. And then the turn. I think the only deployed that. Let's continue. Despite meeting the objectives, I can still farm some experience, and I think in general that's quite important. Although in the case of like 0 and 3, like these odds are actually very dangerous, and with pioneers I actually don't want to risk this. I still have another turn, so I don't really need to worry too much here. Yeah, you're only here for one more turn and you for 3, so let's keep it moving like that. Just take this here territory, and here too. Every little bit of experience helps, even if it's just 10 XP for one scenario. Okay. Let's continue again. So in this case, again, I can use this. It levels them up to veteran. I think it's pretty safe to attack those guys now. If the results are 0 and 3, I'm quite sure you cannot lose a step, but so either set piece attack to 1 or emergency supply for 2. That's probably the best. I want to get as much prestige as possible at the start, so I have no qualms with doing something like that. Alright, that's it. Pretty much all I could do. And that's it. Perfect score. First mission. We took some losses, but 323. Not bad. We lost 6%. Yeah, especially at the start. Some of those battles were pretty rough, but well, you know, ultimately that went pretty well for a first scenario. I'm not displeased with that. Next up, I can either do Mlawa to Matlin or the Polish Plain. This one will deal with Armored Group South, or Group A, and that will be the Southern Pincer for the double development of the Polish army. Or I could do Mlawa to Matlin, which is probably the one that I'm going to do. Continue with the Group Nord and envelop Warsaw from the northeast. And we can also see that taking one of these objectives will enable you to put strategic plans into action, and that's going to be northern Warsaw, and on the Polish plain that's going to be Warsaw, so I guess there'll be southern Warsaw at that point. Either way, thanks for watching the first one. Do hope you enjoyed this new DLC. It will be out on it's early November. I mean, if you're seeing this video, it's going to be, I believe, next Tuesday. It's like 5th of November or something. Something like that, or 3rd of November. I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it's coming out very, very soon from the time that you're seeing this. If you're seeing this, of course, on the day that I release this. So I hope I can make you guys excited for this DLC with, you know, showing off some of these early missions. Because quite frankly, I think these guys deserve all the praise that they can get for making such a great game. Certainly from my part, I think that's the case, which is also exactly why I'm starting up an LP of this game right away, pushing all the other LPs aside. Either way, if you like the video, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, or help me out on Patreon for more videos each week. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.